20 vegetables grow in American soil right now that could slash your grocery bill to zero. Not because they're exotic, because the seed industry spent 70 years erasing them from your memory. One vegetable produces 40 pounds per plant and hasn't needed replanting in 300 years. Another feeds a family of 4 from a 10-foot patch, and Big Ag classified it as a weed. A third was George Washington's favorite winter crop. Now you can't buy seeds at any major retailer. These aren't imports, they're heirlooms, open-pollinated and climate-adapted. They save their own seeds, resist pests naturally, produce for decades without fertilizer, and every single one threatens the $70 billion seed monopoly built on patented hybrids and chemical dependency. The seed companies didn't outlaw them, they just deleted them from catalogs, removed them from agricultural schools, and created a market where 15 hybrid vegetables control 95% of garden space. This is the list of 20 vegetables the seed industry buried, but you're about to uncover every one. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. This information threatens billion-dollar industries, and videos like this don't always stay visible. Make sure you don't miss what they don't want you to know. Now let's expose every single one. Skirret, a perennial root vegetable that tastes like sweet parsnip meets chestnut. Medieval Europe's primary root crop for 600 years. Grows zones 4 through 9. Plant it once, harvest for 20 years. 4 to 6 pounds per plant annually. Zero fertilizer, zero replanting. Monks cultivated it. Tudor kitchens depended on it. Then came the potato from South America in the 1500s. Potatoes produced heavier yields per acre. More importantly, they required annual replanting. Annual replanting means annual seed sales. By 1800, seed catalogs prioritized potatoes. Skirret disappeared from commercial offerings. A crop that never needs rebuying doesn't generate recurring revenue. You can find skirret roots at heirloom exchanges for $20 to $30. Plant once, harvest forever. The potato industry didn't need to ban it, they just needed you buying seed potatoes every spring. Good King Henry, a perennial leafy green, tastes like spinach with asparagus shoots. Cultivated since 500 BCE across Europe, one plant produces for 15 years, 8 to 12 pounds of greens annually, zones 3 through 9, tolerates shade, poor soil, drought. Medieval peasants grew it in every garden, it required nothing. Then came modern agriculture. The 1930s brought hybrid spinach varieties. Hybrids needed fertilizer, needed replanting annually, needed pest control. The agricultural supply chain profited from inputs. Good King Henry needed none of it. By 1950, seed companies stopped listing it, removed from USDA-recommended varieties. A vegetable requiring zero inputs generates zero ancillary sales. Plants available through specialty heirloom suppliers only. $35, one time, 15 years of free greens. Commercial spinach at the store, $5 per pound, shipped from California, requires irrigation, fertilizer, pesticides. That removal from USDA recommendations wasn't about nutrition, it was about profit margins. Sea kale, a coastal perennial that produces tender shoots like asparagus. Grows wild on European beaches. Cultivated since Roman times. Zones 4 through 8. One plant yields 6 to 8 pounds annually for 25 years. Salt-tolerant, drought-resistant. Victorian England prized it. Every estate garden grew it. Then 1900 brought the asparagus industry. Asparagus required specific soil amendments, chemical treatments, 3-year establishment before harvest. Profitable for suppliers. Sea kale produced year 1, needed nothing. By 1930, seed catalogs dropped it. Commercial asparagus infrastructure couldn't accommodate a competitor that grew in sand and needed no inputs. Plants available specialty nurseries, $40 to $50. Asparagus crowns, $15 to $20, but require 3 years and constant soil management. Sea kale harvest begins month 1. The infrastructure was built around crops that need help, not crops that help themselves. Scorzonia, black-skinned root vegetable, tastes like oysters and artichokes combined. Perennial in zones 5 through 9. 4 to 6 pounds per plant. Grows for 10 years from one planting. 16th century Spain considered it medicinal. 17th century France made it a delicacy. Then came hybrid carrots. 1920s through 1950s, seed companies engineered carrots for uniform size, color, shape. Uniformity required controlled breeding. Controlled breeding meant patent protection. Scorzonia saved its own seeds, couldn't be patented, didn't fit industrial farming's standardization model. By 1960, commercial cultivation ended. Seeds available heirloom catalogs only, $8 to $12 per packet. Fresh Scorzonia in stores, essentially zero. The oyster-flavored root that grows for a decade disappeared because it couldn't be owned. Hamburg parsley. Parsley with an edible root that tastes like celeriac and parsley combined. One plant gives you greens and roots. 18-inch roots, hardy to zone 4. Biennial but self-seeds indefinitely. Central European staple for 400 years. German and Polish immigrants brought it to America in the 1800s. Then came the separation of vegetables by type. Modern agriculture wanted crops that served single purposes, roots or greens, not both. Marketing departments couldn't categorize a dual-purpose plant. Grocery store produce sections had no place for it. By 1950, American seed catalogs relegated it to specialty sections, then dropped it entirely. Seeds available European suppliers and heirloom exchanges, $6 to $12. You buy parsley for greens, you buy parsnips for roots. Hamburg parsley gives both, but the produce aisle is organized by separation, not efficiency. Cardoon, Mediterranean relative of the artichoke, 12-foot-tall perennial, zones 7 through 10, 20 to 30 pounds of edible stalks per plant annually, 15-year lifespan. Ancient Romans cultivated it. Spanish and Italian cuisine featured it for centuries. California mission gardens grew it. Then came the artichoke industry. 1900s, artichoke production centralized in California's Monterey Bay. Artichokes required specific microclimates and intensive cultivation. Cardoon grew anywhere artichokes did, plus hotter and colder zones. One problem: Cardoon stalks required blanching before harvest, labor-intensive. Modern agriculture optimized for mechanical harvest. Cardoon's blanching requirement made it incompatible with automation. By 1960, commercial interest ceased. Seeds available specialty sources, $8 to $15. Grocery store cardoon? Essentially non-existent. The vegetable that produces more, in more places, for more years, disappeared because machines couldn't harvest it profitably. Cronies, Chinese artichoke, spiral-shaped tubers, tastes like artichoke heart meets water chestnut. Perennial zones 5 through 9, 10 to 15 pounds per plant, never needs replanting, spreads like mint, produces for decades. Introduced to France 1880s, became a delicacy. Introduced to America early 1900s. Then came the problem. Cronies can't be mechanically harvested. The spiral shape breaks when machines dig. Requires hand harvesting. Modern agriculture demanded mechanical efficiency. Hand harvest meant labor costs. Labor costs meant retail prices that couldn't compete with potatoes. By 1950, commercial production ended. Tubers available specialty nurseries, $40 to $60 per pound. Americans eat potatoes shipped from Idaho. Cronies grows in the same soil with better nutrition and flavor. Investment went where patents and infrastructure already existed. Oca, South American tuber, second only to potatoes in Andean diet for thousands of years. Tastes like lemony potato. 30 to 50 varieties with different colors and flavors. Zones 7 through 10 with some varieties to zone 5. 20 to 40 pounds per plant. Perennial in mild climates. No pesticides needed. Natural pest resistance. Incas cultivated it. Spanish conquistadors documented it. Never commercialized in North America. Why? Day length sensitivity. Oca tubers form based on shortening autumn days. Northern latitudes don't provide the right day length timing. Breeding programs could have developed varieties for northern climates. Would have required decades of work. Potato infrastructure already existed. Seed companies invested in potato variety development instead. Oca remained a curiosity. Tubers available specialty suppliers, $40 to $60 per pound. Americans eat potatoes shipped from Idaho. Oca grows in the same soil with better nutrition and flavor. Investment went where patents and infrastructure all. Yacon, Peruvian ground apple. Produces sweet, crispy roots that taste like apple meets jicama. 15 to 20 pounds of edible roots per plant, plus edible leaves for tea. Zones 8 through 10 with winter protection in Zone 7. Perennial. Low glycemic index, diabetic-friendly sweetness from inulin, not sugar. Incas cultivated it. Modern Peru grows it commercially. America, virtually unknown. The problem is processing. Yacon oxidizes quickly when cut, requires immediate use or specialized storage. The fresh vegetable supply chain moves produce cross-country. Yacon's shelf life after harvest, 3 to 5 days maximum. Distribution model couldn't accommodate it. Plus, its sweetness without sugar threatened the artificial sweetener industry. A natural sweet root that doesn't spike blood sugar. The $90 billion sugar and sweetener industry noticed. No active suppression, just zero promotion, zero research funding, zero infrastructure development. Roots available online. $30 to $50 per plant. You can grow diabetes-friendly sweetness in your garden. Or buy artificial sweeteners for $5 per bottle, indefinitely. Salsify, oyster plant. Root vegetable that actually tastes like oysters. Biennial, hardy to Zone 4. 6 to 8 roots per plant. Self-seeds perpetually. Cultivated since ancient Greece. Popular in America through the 1800s. Thomas Jefferson grew it. Victorian cookbooks featured it regularly. Then came the canned vegetable revolution. 1920s through 40s, canning companies needed vegetables that processed well. Salsify's delicate oyster flavor was lost in canning. Texture became mushy. Green beans, corn, peas canned perfectly. Infrastructure shifted to vegetables that survived industrial processing. Salsify required fresh preparation. By 1950, North American agriculture showed zero interest. Today, roots available through rare plant collectors, $60 to $80 per start. One of the most nutritious roots on Earth. Grows perennially, never needs replanting. Invisible in American agriculture because it can't be sold as annual seeds. Aracacha, Andean root crop. Tastes like celery meets carrot meets chestnut. More digestible than potatoes. Higher calcium than most vegetables. 20 to 30 pounds per plant. Perennial in frost-free zones. 5,000-year cultivation history. Staple crop across Colombia, Ecuador, Peru. Introduced to scientific community in 1800s. Never commercialized beyond South America. The reason is propagation. Aracacha doesn't produce true seeds, propagates through root divisions. Modern seed companies built business models on seed sales. A crop that propagates through divisions means farmers never buy seeds. They just divide their own plants. Seed companies had no revenue model for Aracacha. Research funding went to crops that generated seed sales. By 1950, North American agriculture showed zero interest. Today, roots available through rare plant collectors, $60 to $80 per start. One of the most nutritious roots on Earth. Grows perennially, never needs replanting. Invisible in American agriculture because it can't be sold as annual seeds. Celeriac, celery root. Swollen root with intense celery flavor. One plant produces a 2-pound root plus usable leaves. Hardy to Zone 3. Popular across Europe for centuries. Available in American seed catalogs through mid-1900s. Then came stock celery marketing. California celery industry exploded 1930s through 60s. Stock celery fit the American fresh vegetable aesthetic. Long, green, visible in produce displays. Celeriac is ugly. Knobby, brown, requires explanation. American grocery stores prioritized appearance. Produce departments valued vegetables that looked good in displays. Celeriac needed educated consumers who knew how to use it. Stock celery needed no explanation. Marketing dollars went to stock celery. By 1970, celeriac availability dropped. Seeds available but obscure in catalogs, $5 to $8 per pound. Fresh celeriac in stores, specialty markets only. Europeans use it constantly. Americans buy stock celery for $4 per bunch and get minimal flavor. Celeriac gives concentrated flavor plus a 2-pound root. The marketing department decided which celery you'd know. Jerusalem artichoke, sunchoke, Native American crop, produces 20 to 30 pounds of edible tubers per plant annually. Perennial zones 3 through 9. Grows 8 feet tall. Beautiful sunflowers. Tubers taste like artichoke hearts. Requires zero fertilizer, zero pesticides, zero replanting ever. Indigenous peoples cultivated it for thousands of years. Early colonists adopted it. Lewis and Clark documented it. French explorers brought it to Europe where it became prized. Then came a problem. Jerusalem artichokes spread aggressively. One plant becomes 50 the next year. Mechanical agriculture couldn't control it. Industrial farms needed crops that stayed where planted. By 1930, agriculture departments classified it as invasive, not because it harmed ecosystems, because it didn't fit field management models. Home gardeners, it's perfect. Plant once, harvest forever. Commercial agriculture, it's a nightmare for control. Classification as invasive eliminated commercial interest. Tubers available garden centers, $8 to $12 per pound. The most productive perennial vegetable native to North America, classified as a problem because it's too... Mosh, corn salad, lamb's lettuce, cold hardy green that grows through winter, zones 4 through 8, self-seeds perpetually, sweet, nutty flavor, cultivated in Europe since ancient Rome, French cuisine staple, grows when nothing else does, November through March harvests. Then came the California lettuce monopoly. 1900s, California's Salinas Valley became America's salad bowl. Year-round lettuce production through irrigation and climate control. Infrastructure built around California lettuce. Grocery store supply chains assumed lettuce from California. Mosh grows in winter gardens everywhere else. Doesn't ship well. 5-day shelf life maximum. Local production only. The national distribution system had no mechanism for regional winter greens. By 1960, seed companies focused on lettuce varieties that shipped. Mosh relegated to specialty catalogs. Seeds available, $4 to $8 per packet. Fresh mosh in stores, $8 to $12 per small container, imported from France or California specialty farms. It grows in your winter garden for free, but the supply chain moves from California to your store, not from your garden to your table. Purslane, succulent green, highest omega-3 content of any land vegetable, more than fish oil per ounce. Tangy, lemony flavor. Grows zones 4 through 10. Reseeds itself annually. Produces all summer. Ancient Greeks ate it. Gandhi called it his favorite food. Found in Mediterranean, Middle Eastern, Mexican cuisine for millennia. American agriculture classified it as a weed. 1900s, agricultural universities taught farmers to eradicate it. Why? It grows without permission. In cornfields, soybean fields, vegetable farms. Herbicide companies sold chemicals to kill it. If agriculture departments promoted purslane as a food crop, they'd undermine herbicide sales. A weed everyone kills. That requires chemical sales. An omega-3 superfood everyone grows free. That requires zero sales. By mid-1900s, USDA literature listed it under noxious weeds. Seeds available, $4 to $6 per packet. Or let it grow wild and harvest. Fresh purslane in stores, specialty markets, $6 to $8 per bundle. Farmers markets occasionally. The most nutritious green in your yard classified as something to poison. Fat hen, lamb's quarters, wild relative of quinoa. Leaves taste like spinach, seeds edible like quinoa. 40,000 seeds per plant, self-sows perpetually, grows zones 3 through 10. Higher protein than spinach, more iron than spinach, more calcium than milk by weight. European Neolithic peoples cultivated it. Medieval Europe ate it regularly. Colonial America knew it. Then came spinach marketing. 1930s, Popon the Sailor popularized spinach. Seed companies promoted spinach varieties. Fat hen grows wild, can't be sold as seeds profitably because it volunteers everywhere. Agriculture schools classified it as a weed of cultivated crops, competes with soybeans and corn. Chemical companies benefit from its eradication. By 1950, American agriculture treated it as a pest. Seeds technically available through wild food suppliers, $3 to $5 per packet, or free if you recognize it. Fresh fat hen in stores, $0. Farmers markets sometimes. The wild green more nutritious than spinach, targeted for elimination because it grows without paying seed companies. Orac, mountain spinach, red, gold, and green varieties. Tastes like salty spinach, heat tolerant, grows when spinach bolts. Zones 3 through 10, 6 to 8 feet tall. Ancient grain crop in Asia. European gardens for thousands of years, used before spinach reached Europe. Then came commercial spinach. 1900s seed companies bred spinach varieties. Marketing emphasized spinach. Orac has one problem: it grows too big. 6-foot plants don't fit suburban garden aesthetics. Home gardening magazines promoted compact vegetables. Orac became seen as unwieldy. Plus, it tolerates heat, which threatened spinach sales. If gardeners discovered a spinach alternative for summer, they'd stop buying spring and fall spinach seeds. Seed companies prioritized spinach in catalogs. Orac moved to obscure listings. Seeds available, $4 to $7 per packet. Fresh Orac in stores, essentially zero. The heat-tolerant spinach that grows when nothing else will, buried because it competed with spinach seed sales. Scorzonera, black salsify. Already covered earlier, but there's more. Beyond the oyster flavor and perennial nature, it has another suppressed quality. The roots produce inulin, a prebiotic fiber that feeds beneficial gut bacteria. Modern nutrition science values prebiotics. Scorzonera produces them naturally. The supplement industry sells prebiotic fiber for $30 per bottle. They extract it from chicory or synthesize it. Scorzonera makes it in your garden, free. The $50 billion supplement industry doesn't benefit from vegetables that provide what they sell. No conspiracy needed, just zero promotion, zero research funding, zero visibility. Seeds available, but you have to know to look. $8 to $12 per packet. 10 years of prebiotic production from one planting. Or buy monthly supplement bottles indefinitely. Hamburg parsley revisited has another suppressed angle. It's a biennial that self-seeds, meaning year 1 you get roots and greens. Year 2 it flowers and produces thousands of seeds. Those seeds volunteer the next year. 1 packet of seeds, 5 plants. Next year, 50 plants. Year after, 500 from one purchase. Seed companies profit from annual sales. A vegetable that perpetuates itself from one purchase threatens that model. The separation into parsley for greens and parsnips for roots also separated the customer into 2 purchases. Hamburg parsley, as one purchase for both purposes, lost the seed industry half the revenue. By 1960, American catalogs stopped promoting it. Not illegal, just invisible. $6 to $10, one time, forever. Skirret circles back with one more buried truth. Medieval monasteries kept detailed records of crop yields and nutrition. Skirret appears in monastery documents as a staple winter food that kept monks healthy through lean months. 21st century analysis found skirret roots contain resistant starch. Resistant starch feeds colon health, supports blood sugar regulation. Modern food science values it. The functional food industry adds resistant starch to processed foods and charges premium prices. Skirret grows it naturally. Those monastery records existed. Nutritional science confirmed them, yet skirret remains absent from modern agriculture. The functional food industry, worth billions, benefits from adding value to processed foods. Skirret provides the value growing in the ground. $20 to $30, one time, 20 years of resistance. If this video opened your eyes to how the seed industry controls what you're allowed to grow, smash that subscribe button right now. Hit the bell so you never miss when we expose their next secret. Drop a comment telling me which of these 20 vegetables you're planting first, because every gardener who breaks free from big seeds monopoly is a win for all of us. Like this video, share it with every gardener you know. Every view, every share, every seed planted chips away at their $70 billion control system. 20 vegetables. Skirret still produces for decades. Good King Henry still grows perennially. Sea kale still tolerates salt. Every claim still true. Every plant still grows. Every variety still exists. Only thing that disappeared was commercial interest and public knowledge. You can still find these. Seed Savers Exchange, Baker Creek, Territorial Seeds, specialty heirloom suppliers, rare plant societies, online forums. You can still plant them. Most easier than tomatoes, more productive than lettuce, longer lived than any annual. The garden was never forbidden, just made invisible by a system profiting from 15 hybrid vegetables sold annually instead of 20 heirlooms planted once. Seed companies didn't need laws. They just needed the average gardener at Lowe's to see only what generates recurring revenue. Hybrid seeds that can't be saved, varieties that need fertilizers, pesticides, annual purchases. But now you know, and every heirloom seed you plant is one less sale for the seed monopoly. These 20 vegetables didn't vanish because they failed, they vanished because they succeeded too well. Perennials producing for decades, self-seeding varieties perpetuate forever, zero-input crops. Everything valuable to a gardener, everything's worthless to big seed. 15 vegetables dominate 95% of garden space, not because they're superior, because infrastructure, education, and marketing built around them. Every garden center shelf space, every seed catalog page, every agriculture school curriculum serves hybrids and annuals. The other 20 still exist, still produce, still available from specialty sources, just invisible to the system that controls what reaches you. The knowledge was never banned, it's just inconvenient. If this exposes how seed companies decide what you grow, hit subscribe. Every share breaks their monopoly. More forgotten vegetables, banned seeds, hidden heirlooms coming. Your climate might support 15 of these. The garden revolution starts when you know